Here's an expanded version of your speech, focusing on the sixth key point. Embrace fear instead of resisting it, while keeping it engaging and motivational. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Fear is often seen as the enemy. We treat it like an obstacle, something that stands in the way of our success, our happiness, and our dreams. We tell ourselves, if only I weren't afraid, I would take that risk. If only fear didn't exist, I would go after what I want. But what if we've been looking at fear the wrong way? What if fear is not the enemy, but a guide? What if instead of running from fear, we learn to embrace it? The truth is, fear is not a sign that we should stop. Fear is a sign that we are stepping into something important. It means we are moving beyond what is comfortable, beyond what is familiar, and into the space where real growth happens. If you've ever felt fear before making a big decision, before speaking up, before trying something new, that is not a signal to retreat. That is a signal that you are alive, that you are stretching yourself, that you are on the edge of something meaningful. We often think that fearless people don't feel fear at all, but that's not true. The bravest people in the world, athletes, leaders, performers, entrepreneurs, feel fear just like everyone else. The difference is they don't let fear control them. They don't wait for fear to disappear before they take action. They feel the fear and they move forward anyway. They understand that fear is part of the process. So instead of resisting fear, what if we leaned into it? What if instead of saying, I'm scared, so I won't do it, we said, I'm scared, and that means this is worth doing? What if we trained ourselves to see fear as excitement, as possibility, as the energy that fuels us rather than the force that stops us? When you start thinking of fear this way, it loses its power. It no longer becomes something that holds you back. It becomes something that pushes you forward. Think about the moments in your life when you have felt the most alive. Maybe it was the first time you stood on a stage. Maybe it was the moment you made a difficult but necessary decision. Maybe it was the first time you took a leap into the unknown. Chances are those moments were filled with fear, but they were also filled with excitement, with growth, with possibility. That's because fear and excitement are two sides of the same coin. The things that scare us the most are often the things that matter the most. Of course, fear is not always a bad thing. It exists to protect us, to keep us from real danger. But most of the fear we experience in life is not about physical danger. It's about the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of uncertainty. And those fears, they don't have to stop us. We can acknowledge them, learn from them, and then choose to move forward anyway. So the next time you feel fear, don't resist it. Don't let it stop you. Instead, ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? What does it mean? Is it warning me of real danger, or is it just trying to keep me inside my comfort zone? More often than not, fear is simply reminding you that you are stepping into something bigger, and that is exactly where you are meant to be. Fear will always be a part of life, but it doesn't have to define you. You are stronger than your fears. You are braver than you think. And when you stop resisting fear and start embracing it, you unlock a level of courage you never knew existed. So go forward boldly. Do the things that scare you. Because on the other side of fear is everything you've ever wanted. Here's an expanded version of your speech, focusing on the fifth key point: surround yourself with brave people while keeping it motivational and engaging. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Have you ever noticed how the people around you influence the way you think, the way you act, and even the way you see yourself? Whether we realize it or not, the company we keep plays a huge role in shaping our mindset, our confidence, and our ability to be fearless. If you are constantly surrounded by people who doubt you, who discourage you, who play it safe, it's only a matter of time before their fears start becoming your own. But if you surround yourself with people who are bold, who take risks, who believe in possibilities instead of limitations, then courage becomes contagious. Think about it. Every great athlete has a strong team. Every successful entrepreneur has a network of mentors and supporters. No one succeeds alone. The people you choose to have around you can either push you toward greatness or hold you back in fear. If you want to be fearless, then you need to surround yourself with people who remind you of your strength when you forget it, who challenge you to grow when you feel stuck, and who push you forward when you feel like giving up. Too often, we hold on to relationships and friendships out of habit, even when they no longer serve us. We stay around people who discourage us because we don't want to be alone. But here's the truth. It is better to walk alone on the right path than to stay in the company of those who hold you back. If the people around you constantly make you doubt yourself, if they mock your dreams, if they make you feel small, then it's time to reevaluate. Because real friends, real supporters don't make you feel like you have to shrink yourself to fit in. They celebrate your growth, even when it means you're outgrowing certain situations. Brave people don't just support you, they inspire you. When you see someone chasing their dreams, it reminds you that you can do the same. When you see someone take risks, it gives you permission to take risks too. Their energy, their mindset, their determination, it rubs off on you. And the best part, you don't have to find these people in person. You can be inspired by authors, by leaders, by role models who have faced their fears and kept moving forward. Surround yourself with their words, their stories, their lessons. Let their courage fuel your own. But it's not just about who you surround yourself with. It's also about the kind of person you choose to be. If you want to attract brave people into your life, you have to be brave yourself. Be the kind of person who lifts others up, who encourages dreams instead of crushing them, who believes in possibilities instead of limitations. Because when you put that kind of energy into the world, you attract it back. So take a look at the people around you. Do they challenge you to be better? Do they make you feel empowered? Do they believe in your dreams as much as you do? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to make a change. Because at the end of the day, the people in your life will either fuel your courage or feed your fears. Choose wisely. Choose fearlessness. Would you like any refinements or additions? Smiling face with smiling eyes, here's an expanded version of your speech, focusing on the fourth key point. Take the first step while keeping it motivational and engaging. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. How many times have you found yourself waiting for the right moment to start something? Maybe it's a dream you've been thinking about for years. Maybe it's a change you know you need to make. But instead of taking action, you tell yourself, I'll start when I'm ready. I'll start when the time is right. I'll start when I have everything figured out. And so you wait. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. And that dream, it stays just that, a dream. The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when all the conditions align perfectly, when all the doubts disappear, and when you feel 100% ready. Because fear and uncertainty are always present when you step into something new. But being fearless is not about waiting for fear to go away. It's about moving forward despite it. It's about taking the first step even when you don't have all the answers. Taking the first step is often the hardest part. It's where doubt creeps in the most. What if I fail? Oh, what if I'm not good enough? Oh, what if this doesn't work out? But let me ask you something. What if it does? What if that one step changes everything? What if that one decision leads you to a future greater than you ever imagined? The only way to find out is to begin. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't wait until they're sure they won't fall. They don't stop because they stumble. They just take that first step. And then another. And another. And before you know it, they're running. That's how growth works. No one starts as an expert. No one starts with everything figured out. Every successful person you admire started with a single uncertain step. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't isn't that one had more talent, more knowledge, or more confidence. It's that one decided to start while the other kept waiting. Many people hesitate because they feel like they need to know the entire path before they begin. But life doesn't work that way. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You don't need to have all the details figured out. You just need to start. Because clarity comes through action, not overthinking. The more you move forward, the more the path reveals itself. And yes, the first step might be uncomfortable. It might be messy. You might stumble. But that's okay. Progress is not about perfections. It's about persistence. Every step you take builds momentum. Every action you take increases your confidence. And before you know it, what once felt impossible becomes second nature. So whatever it is that you've been putting off, starting a business, writing a book, going back to school, making a change in your life, this is your sign. Stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop telling yourself you're not ready. The truth is, you are ready enough to start. Take the first step, no matter how small, because the moment you do, you shift from dreaming to doing. You prove to yourself that you are capable, and that single step, it has the power to change everything. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is now. So take the first step. Asarkar. The rest will follow. Here's an expanded version of your speech. Focusing on the third key point, stop seeking approval, while keeping it motivational and engaging. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. How many times have you hesitated to do something just because you were afraid of what others might think? How many dreams have been left unpursued? How many ideas have been left unspoken just because of the fear of judgment? The truth is, one of the greatest barriers to living a fearless life is the need for approval. We grow up being conditioned to seek validation from parents, teachers, friends, society. We want to fit in, we want to be accepted, and we want to be liked. But in the process, we often lose sight of what truly matters: our own happiness, our own purpose, and our own voice. The problem with seeking approval is that it is never ending. You will never be able to please everyone. No matter what you do, there will always be someone who disagrees, who criticizes, or who questions your choices. And that's okay, because your life is not meant to be a performance for others. It is meant to be lived authentically, in a way that aligns with your values, your passions, and your truth. The moment you stop chasing external validation and start focusing on what truly matters to you, you begin to experience real freedom. Think about it. Some of the most inspiring people in history, the ones who changed the world, were often the ones who faced the most criticism. They were told their ideas were too bold, their dreams too unrealistic. But imagine if they had listened. Imagine if they had let the fear of judgment stop them. The world would have missed out on their brilliance, their innovations, and their courage. And the same goes for you. If you constantly live in fear of what others think, you will never truly step into your full potential. One of the biggest misconceptions we have is that people are constantly thinking about us, analyzing our every move. But the truth is, most people are too busy dealing with their own insecurities, their own struggles, and their own lives to spend much time judging yours. And even if they do judge, does it really matter? Will their opinions affect your dreams, your happiness, your success? Absolutely not. When you let go of the need for approval, something incredible happens. You start making decisions based on what truly fulfills you. You stop living for the expectations of others and start living for yourself. And that is where real confidence comes from. Not from being accepted by everyone, but from knowing that you are staying true to yourself. So how do you stop seeking approval? First, remind yourself that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. You are enough, just as you are, whether people approve of you or not. Second, start making choices based on what feels right for you, not what looks good to others. Third, accept that not everyone will understand your journey. That's okay. You don't need everyone's validation to be successful or happy. The world does not need more people who fit in. It needs more people who stand out. People who dare to follow their dreams, who take risks, who live fearlessly. So I challenge you, stop waiting for permission. Stop seeking approval. Live boldly, take up space, and do what sets your soul on fire. Because at the end of the day, the only approval that truly matters is your own. Sure. Here's an expanded version of your speech, focusing on the second key point, rewriting your failure story while maintaining the motivational tone. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Fear has a way of creeping into our minds whenever we step towards something new. It convinces us that failure is something to be ashamed of, something to avoid at all costs. But what if I told you that failure is not the enemy? What if failure is actually one of the greatest teachers in life? The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that one never fails. It's that one learns to see failure as part of the process, while the other lets it define them. We've all faced moments where things didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a job interview that didn't go well, a relationship that fell apart, a dream that seemed out of reach. In those moments, it's easy to feel like we aren't good enough, like we don't have what it takes. But if you take a step back, you'll realize that those moments are not the end of your story. They are simply chapters in a much larger journey. Failure is never final unless you stop trying. Every mistake, every setback, every disappointment carries a lesson that can push you forward if you are willing to embrace it. Think about the people you admire the most, whether they are leaders, artists, athletes, or entrepreneurs. Do you think they reached success without failure? No, they failed, they struggled, and they faced rejection. But instead of letting those failures define them, they used them as fuel. They didn't stop because things got hard. They kept going because they understood that every setback was preparing them for something greater. The truth is, failure is proof that you are trying. It means you are stepping out of your comfort zone, taking risks, and pushing yourself toward growth. The real failure isn't falling, it's refusing to get back up. One of the biggest reasons we fear failure is because of how we think others will perceive us. We worry that people will judge us, that they will see our mistakes and think less of us. But the reality is, the people who matter won't judge you for trying. They will respect you for it. The people who criticize from the sidelines are usually the ones too afraid to take risks themselves. So why should their opinions dictate your choices? Instead of fearing what others think, start focusing on what truly matters: your own growth, your own happiness, and your own journey. Every time you face failure, you have two choices. Let it define you or let it refine you. The strongest people aren't those who never struggle. They are the ones who take those struggles and turn them into stepping stones. They are the ones who ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? How can I use this experience to become better? They don't let failure break them. They let it build them. So, the next time you face a setback, I want you to ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can I use this to move forward instead of running from failure? Embrace it. Change the way you see it. See it as an opportunity, as a lesson, necessary part of success. The moment you start seeing failure differently, everything changes. You stop fearing it, and instead, you start using it to propel yourself forward. Success is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. It's about believing in yourself enough to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. So be fearless in the face of failure. Take the risks, make the mistakes, and learn from every single one of them. Because in the end, the only real failure is never trying at all. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you took a leap of faith? When was the last time you did something that scared you? Too often, we let fear dictate our decisions. We hesitate, we second-guess ourselves, and we convince ourselves that we aren't ready. But what if I told you that the most successful, fulfilled, and happy people aren't the ones without fear, but the ones who refuse to let fear control them? Being fearless is not about eliminating fear altogether. It's about moving forward despite it. It's about recognizing fear for what it is, a natural emotion, not a roadblock. The truth is, fear will always be a part of life. It shows up when we step outside our comfort zone, when we take risks, and when we put ourselves out there. Fear is not a sign to stop. It's a signal that we are about to grow. We often let fear of failure hold us back. We ask ourselves, what if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if things don't go as planned? But let's flip the question. What if you succeed? What if you grow in ways you never imagined? What if this risk changes your life for the better? The reality is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey toward it. Every great success story includes moments of failure, rejection, and setbacks. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is simple. Those who succeed refuse to give up. They learn, they adapt, and they keep going. One of the biggest obstacles to living fearlessly is the need for approval. We worry about what others will think, whether they will judge us, whether they will accept us. But here's the truth. People will always have opinions, but their opinions don't define your worth. If you constantly seek validation from others, you will never truly live for yourself. The most courageous thing you can do is follow your own path, even when it goes against expectations. Being fearless doesn't mean taking reckless leaps. It means taking intentional steps toward what you truly want. Sometimes we convince ourselves that we have to make giant moves to change our lives. See, real change happens in small, consistent steps. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Courage is contagious. People we surround ourselves with influence how we see the world and how we see ourselves. If you are surrounded by negativity, doubt, and fear, it will be harder to move forward. When you surround yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, and who inspire you, you start to believe in yourself too. Find people who push you to be better, who remind you of your strength when you forget it, and who lift you up when you feel like giving up. Instead of resisting fear, what if we embraced it? Fear is a natural response to stepping into the unknown, but it doesn't have to control us. When we learn to make peace with fear, we take away its power. Every time you feel fear, remind yourself that it means you are growing, you are learning, and you are stepping into something meaningful. So I leave you with this challenge. Be fearless, not because fear won't show up, but because you are stronger than your fears. Take the risk, step forward, and trust yourself. The world needs your courage, your ideas, and your unique voice. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. This is your moment. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you stepped outside your comfort zone? When was the last time you took a risk, knowing there was a chance you might fail? Fear is a natural part of life. It whispers in our ears, telling us we're not good enough, not strong enough, not ready. But today, I want to challenge that voice. I want to invite you to embrace a new mindset, be fearless,